Coming up right now on Marlborough This Week, a fundraiser event was held in memory of a beloved staff member of the Assabet Valley High School. Also, a transfer to fund the fire department has been backed by the City Council. And later in this half hour, highlights from the playoff game between Marlborough High School and Wachusett Regional. Those stories and more, all on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Paula Pimentel. Here's more on this week's top story. Family members, friends, and students of the late Cliff Giovannucci showed up this past Saturday at the New England Sports Center to skate and play hockey in his honor. The event was held to raise money that will go to a trust fund for his two children, Amanda and Jonathan. Cliff Giovannucci, former coach and teacher of Assabet Valley Technical High School, died in April at the age of 48 in a motorcycle crash. Amanda Giovannucci was approached by lots of the guests. They wanted to fill her with compliments about her father. City councilors backed a transfer to fund the fire department overtime account that will likely last them another few months. The 2011 fiscal year ends on June 30th, and the fire department has about $16,000 left in its overtime account. According to Chief Ricky Plummer, they expect to use that amount this month. Mayor Nancy Stevens and Chief Plummer had requested a transfer of $95,000 from the City Council's free cash account. The City Council's Finance Committee voted 4-0 to recommend amending the request and using $30,000 from the free cash account. According to Plummer, the extra funding should last the department through February. Plummer provided councilors with statistics of other communities' fire department overtime spending. Some communities with a similar population to that of Marlborough and with the same number of calls have spent significantly more in fire department overtime during the fiscal year of 2010. One of the examples stated was Leominster, which spent $542,000 in fire department overtime compared to Marlborough, which spent $194,000. Continuing with the City Council meeting, the request for Verizon Wireless to install a wireless cellular tower at 800 Bolton Street was brought to the table once more. The tower would be installed in private property, and the owners are not pleased with the current plans. Last time they met to discuss this issue was on October 5th. Verizon Wireless stated that if necessary, they would lower the height of the facility, and they would make its appearance more streamlined. The tower does meet the setback requirements by 5 feet. Councilor Patricia Pope questioned if the property owner's unwillingness to cooperate does not give them enough grounds to deny. According to City Solicitor Donald Ryder, the answer is no. Ryder stated that the committee would like to see cooperation from the property owner in any given case. No final decision was made. Councilor Edward Clancy said that Verizon Wireless should communicate directly with Mrs. Capucci and her attorney in order to reach an agreement and meet back with the City Council after that. A Marlborough man is being charged for attempted rape as a woman accuses him of attacking her inside her residence. Here are some more details. A Marlborough resident was ordered held without bail after he allegedly stuffed tissue paper in a woman's mouth and attempted to rape her at her Broad Street residence. Mariano Gomez of 195 Broad Street is being charged with attempted murder, assault to rape, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and armed assault in a dwelling. According to a police report filed at the Marlborough District Court, several witnesses, Gomez and the victim, share a common area in the apartment, but they all have separate rooms. Police were called to the apartment after several neighbors heard the woman scream. The woman stated that a man wearing a black ski mask broke into her room using a screwdriver, tackled her, and pinned her on the bed. When she tried calling for help, the man stuffed tissue paper in her mouth. A witness allegedly heard the scream and saw Gomez leave the apartment. And according to court records, the mask was found in the hallway. The victim was taken to Marlborough Hospital where she was treated for her injuries. Still to come as we continue with Marlborough this week, the Chinese basketball dream team comes to Marlborough. But first, Mayor Nancy Stevens officially kicks off the holiday season. We're back with that story after this short break. Please stay with us.
Happy holidays. This is Firefighter Mark with some holiday fire safety tips for you. Before stringing your lights, you should always check for any frayed wiring or broken bulbs. You should never use a household extension cord for outdoor lighting. Always use a heavier gauge extension cord. Keep your household pets away from any wiring. You should never place your candles near anything that can catch on fire. You should never overload your outlets with too many plugs. Make sure you properly water your tree. A dry tree can cause fires. On behalf of the Marlborough Fire Department, we would like to wish you all a happy and safe holiday season.
Welcome back to Marlborough This Week. Mayor Nancy Stevens and Marlborough's postmaster officially kicked off the holiday season in Marlborough in front of the City Hall. Here's more on that story. The 2010 Home for the Holidays kickoff ceremony took place on Monday in front of the City Hall in Marlborough. Santa's mailboxes are already available throughout the city so that children can send out their letters. Mayor Nancy Stevens had the honor of dropping the first letter into the mailbox at the City Hall.
As always, I get the honor and the privilege to be able to mail the first letter to Santa. I may not be one of the children, but I think I'm the biggest kid in the city, so when it comes to the holiday season. So Nick, is it okay if I mail my letter to Santa?
Please do, Mayor.
During the kickoff event, Marlborough's postmaster, Nicholas Salikis, introduced the new holiday stamps and announced the deadlines for holiday mailings.
Just to kick off some dates, for international mailing, December 10th is our deadline for first-class postage. December 13th is our deadline for priority postage. And December 17th is our express mail international. So please get them in as early as possible. Gives us a chance to ship them overseas.
With more on the holidays, the Marlborough Historical Society hosted their annual Festival of Trees and will continue to host it this coming weekend. Marlborough Historical Society's Festival of Trees took place last weekend at 362 Elm Street and will continue this Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5. This is the third year for the Festival of Trees, which intends to raise funds for the maintenance of the Marlborough Historical Society. About 70 Christmas trees are on display. Kids can also go and build their own toys at the Santa's Workshop, which is an area operated by Marlborough's Wooden Toys and Crafts. The admission cost is $5 for adults, $2 for seniors and children, and kids under the age of 5 are free. Visitors can also purchase raffle tickets for the chance to win one of the decorated trees. For more information, visit historicmarlborough.org. The Massachusetts International Academy welcomed the winners of the My Basketball Dream event from China as they come to play with the school. The principal of the Massachusetts International Academy welcomed the winners of My Basketball Dream Team as they begin their 2.5-week tour in the United States. These 5 students competed with thousands of other college students in China and through a vigorous process of elimination became the winners. During the welcoming event, Brenda Finn spoke to them about the opportunity that comes with playing sports.
Sports often provide the opportunity for participants to form connections between nations, to create friendships that transcend differences in languages and in cultures. To be where you are today, we know that you've already developed a strong work ethic and know how to be a working member of a team. What is most important, though, is that you develop the strong character, great work ethic, and sense of team spirit that sports foster.
The executive director of the China Institute at UMass decided to speak mostly in Chinese, but while speaking English, referred to the importance of sports in universities.
Sports in all the campuses in any university college is very important. Not only represent, as Brenda said, leadership, discipline, but also the winning culture in American culture it looks like a little bit more than in the Chinese culture. So you guys are all winners. We are really proud of you coming here. So next couple more weeks we'll start together to get something more experience to enhance the relationship between the U.S. college and the Chinese college.
John Cunningham from UMass Amherst, in his belief that these players would be missing basketball at this point, presented them with some good news.
You can't stay away from practice very long, and so that's why we've enlisted Coach Verdell of the NBA Development League to work you out next Wednesday, and if you wish, on a following day as well, because I can understand that sitting still is not something that's comfortable for varsity athletes.
Hu Yifan, player of the My Basketball Dream Team, decided to share some words and spoke about his dream of going to college and playing basketball. Yifan also thanked Maya in behalf of the rest of the team for the warm welcome they received. The event of My Basketball Dream is sponsored by CCTV5 Sports Channel in China, which holds over 86% of China's sports television market. For this reason, their Deputy Director of Program Operation joined us during the ceremony. The welcoming ceremony concluded with the presentation of the instructors and the 5 players of the team, followed by a delicious lunch. The winners of My Basketball Dream had the opportunity to play against current students of the Massachusetts International Academy. The fun competition was held at 4 Kicks, and here are the details. The current students of the Massachusetts International Academy's basketball team played against the winners of the My Basketball Dream Team. The friendly competition took place at 4 Kicks in Marlborough. The game was a part of the welcoming event prepared by Maya to receive these Chinese students. These players have come to the United States after winning over thousands of other students in China. The winners of the My Basketball Dream Team have come to participate in an exchange learning and training program. Basketball competitions with other schools will begin in a few weeks. Coming up, the 2010 Evening of Giving and your Pet of the Week. We're back after this short break.
They had created a nice little community, including 150 acres of planting field.
But the longest one was the Marlborough Vinegar Company, which was on Maple Street.
They were either closing down or moving down south or other places the factories were.
Now we're moving on to another Marlborough landmark. I'm talking, of course, about the John Brown Bell.
14 women and 5 men were hanged, all innocent of the accusations against them.
Welcome back to Marlborough This Week. Once more, Marlborough had the opportunity to show their spirit of giving this past Thursday. At an event hosted to aid a local shelter, restaurants from all over the city showed off what they're capable of while serving a good cause. This past Thursday, residents of Marlborough had the opportunity to enjoy the 21st Annual Evening of Giving. This annual event, hosted at the Best Western Royal Plaza Hotel, included service of 25 restaurants from around the city. Evening of Giving also featured the Raw Bar, a DJ, and bands. Marlborough residents paid $30 to enter and enjoy the evening until midnight. The event was held to benefit Roland's House, which is a temporary emergency shelter on Mechanic Street.
Today we have Papaya, and she is just the sweetest little love bug. She's great with other dogs, she's good with children, She's good with all people. She's really friendly. I don't know if she's good with cats because she was a stray from Puerto Rico. She definitely likes to eat, so she's a little on the chubby side, but she's going to make a great family pet. She's a young girl, maybe about 2 or 3 years old, and she has a long way to go. If you'd like to learn more about Papaya, please feel free to call us at Buddy Dog. The number is 978-443-6990.
After a stunning 6-0 loss at the hands of the Hudson Hawks, the 7-4 Marlborough Panthers entered their Tuesday night playoff tilt against 10-1 defending Super Bowl champs Wachusett, eager to prove to everyone that they belonged in the hunt. And after a solid defensive stop, Marlborough found their offense again, and on their first play from scrimmage, a quick slant to Adam Serra turns into a 76-yard sprint for a score. 7-0 Marlborough midway through the first. Wachusett took the punch but countered right back on their next drive when Nick Champlin scored on a 6-yard run, making it a tie game with 10 minutes to go in the half. The Panthers would then come back for a nice drive of their own, but a rainy night led to an Austin Garvey fumble. Wachusett would capitalize on the turnover, and Champlin would find pay dirt again for the 14-7 lead. Still time for Marlborough to make some noise in the half, but a slippery ball leads to a diving interception by Wachusett's Steve Balkovich, and that set up a school record 46-yard field goal by Connor McDavid, and wow, he nailed it. 17-7 at the half. Wachusett would score in the first possession after the half, making it 24-17, but the Panthers would not quit, and in the fourth, Garvey would walk into the end zone untouched. Marlborough would get the ball back after a defensive stand and then a controversial play. Quarterback Dennis Duplessis is slung down by a defender, causing an apparent fumble, recovered, and run in for a touchdown by Wachusett. Looking at the replay, it seems as though the ground caused the fumble, but there's no red flags in high school pigskin, and the Panthers would go on to lose 31-14. Congratulations on a great season, Marlborough.
Before we go, just wanted to remind you that you can friend us on our Facebook page. That's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Paula Pimentel. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next week when Kristen Doucette comes back from her well-deserved vacation.
Coming up on Marlborough This Week, we'll give you the details about potential plans for the Human Services Department from this week's lively City Council meeting. One local mom is looking to raise money for the Richer School. Learn how you can help. And last weekend, model train lovers from around the country made the pilgrimage to Marlborough to attend the Model Train Expo. Those stories and more, Marlborough This Week begins now. Hello and welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Ginden. I know I look like Kristen Doucette, but I'm not. She'll be back next week. Everyone can relax now. Let's take a look at Committee Corner.
The biggest story emerging from council chambers Monday night was the approval of an extension to Marlborough's Human Services Department for 2 more months. The approval was not met without protest, though, as Councilor Paul Theroux took an opportunity to speak out against funding a position that he says is, quote, beyond the scope of municipal government. He went on to state a majority of human services for the city are already provided by private agencies such as the food pantry and employment options. He concluded by adding why he believes the position still exists.
And let's stop BSing the public and saying this is really important. We're doing this for one reason, because you like Roz Baker, and that's it.
The mayor had previously assembled a task force led by Councilors Stephen Levy and Robert Seymour to oversee a potential reorganization of the Human Services Department. And after hearing Farrow's comments, Seymour was quick to refute his claims.
Correct. Roz Baker is responsible for the OPEB overrun as well as the problems in the Middle East. If you read the report, it explicitly said as the #1 bullet, the position is greatly valued and the role is critical to services.
While the vote passed, several councilors stated they were unhappy with the length of time the reorganization process was taking, and they would like to see the matter resolved one way or another. For Committee Corner, I'm Rob O'Keefe.
Earlier in the week, Shauna Timmons of Marlborough was ordered held on $5,000 bail. According to police reports, she showed up drunk to pick up her daughter at the Jarrick Elementary School last Wednesday. Principal Mary Murphy alerted the police when Timmons arrived at the school. Timmons failed 3 sobriety tests at the scene and admitted drinking 3 or 4 beers before driving. She was charged with OUI for the 4th time. Her lawyer claims Timmons wants to deal with her struggles with alcohol and will enter detox and attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings when she gets out. Timmons' daughter is now in custody of her estranged husband.
Furnishing Options and the Marlborough Junior Women's League are working together for a good cause.
The Marlborough Junior Women's Club and Furnishing Options are teaming up this winter to make sure local residents stay warm.
And they're calling it Warm for the Winter, and we are looking for quality, in good condition, blankets, towels, tablecloths, and so forth.
With temperatures taking a nosedive in recent days and many people unable to afford to keep their temperatures at a comfortable level, the need is at an all-time high.
With winter coming, a lot of people are coming off the streets. We have an ever-increasing need for these kinds of items, and the ability to be able to keep our inventory up and make sure that whoever walks in the door will receive what they need just means so much.
The drive will run to the end of the month, and donations can be dropped off at the Furnishing Options headquarters located at 66 Mechanic Street, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and from 9 to 12 on Saturdays.
A local school is looking for help from the community to raise money, and the best part is you don't have to spend a dime.
Kimberly Chappelle's son attends the Richer School. Kimberly, like many other elementary school parents, collects box tops every year from General Mills products. These box tops are exchanged for cash, which is then used for the school's enrichment programs. Thanks to Kimberly, Richer is now a finalist in a national contest that would award the school 100,000 box tops, which is equal to $10,000, 10 times what the school normally raises every year.
They were running a contest for schools to introduce that Progresso soup was now going to be part of the box top program. You needed to submit a picture of your way of introducing the box tops for education and announcing to the public how you would show that they're now part of the program.
Kimberly's entry was selected as one of 10 finalists. Now it's up to the community to put Kimberly's submission over the top by voting for her every day between now and Monday.
It's really important for the community to kind of get involved because I don't know that many people enough to win, so it's really, just trying to get it out there. And so everybody in surrounding towns, because if it was their school, they'd want it. They'd want everybody to jump in and help out. And I know personally, I haven't been able to contribute to a lot of the fundraising efforts. I do have a full-time job, and money is kind of tight these days. And this was kind of like a great way that, even for those of us who can't give a lot, we can just log in and, click a button and submit it, and every day. It's going to be every day.
Richard School Principal Joanne Stocklin is very excited for the school, as well as for Kimberly, and urges everyone to spread the word and to make sure they vote this weekend.
If you visit the website, you'll definitely see, and I'm not biased, that Kim's is the best, so it does deserve your vote. I've been voting every day and will through the 13th, and it really is an important time to support the Richer School and to get out there and vote, because times are tough for everybody and in schools, and $10,000 is a huge bonus to support the Richer School. Typically, we bring in about $1,200 a year in box tops, so $10,000 would really be a wonderful support to the students. And I think the fact that Kim's entry was selected for one of the top 10 is just really an attestament to how wonderful our parents are and the involvement of our community here at Richer. It's just a reflection through Kim, and we're really proud of her whether we win or not.
To vote for Kimberly's entry, log on to boxtopsforeducation.com/ProgressoSuperU. You can also click on the link from the City of Marlborough homepage. You have until Monday to vote, and you are allowed to vote once a day. Another company plans to move into the city in a few weeks. Glyco Solutions of Worcester, which does quality control testing for pharmaceutical companies, will have new offices on Lock Drive in Marlborough. The company will be moving from its 1,800 square foot lab in Worcester to more than 5,000 square feet of lab space, more than doubling the size of their operations. In other business, the Marlborough Economic Development Corporation will be holding a meeting on Thursday at the New England Sports Center to discuss how the recreational center can help draw more visitors and tourists to the Metro West area. Area hotels, restaurant, and other service businesses are invited to attend. The center, which recently completed construction of their 6th rink, is responsible for supplying occupants for almost half of the hotels on the weekends in the city. The meeting will be held Thursday at 9:30 at the Sports Center. Newly re-elected Congressman Jim McGovern will be speaking at the Marlborough Chamber of Commerce Legislative Update Breakfast on Monday at 7:45 a.m. This is an open breakfast for all who are pondering what is happening in Washington and what changes we can expect in the future. The cost of the event is $20.
Many of us at one time or another had a model train on our Christmas list. Last weekend, Marlborough was the center of the train universe.
Over 3,000 train enthusiasts of all ages were in town over the weekend for the annual Model Train Expo held at the Royal Plaza Trade Center. The event is sponsored each year by Hub Division, which is a 50-year-old group of model railroaders from eastern Massachusetts. They are a branch of the National Model Railroad Association.
And we run this open public show every year, the first week in December, both for model railroaders and for the general public. There are 7 operating layouts here. Almost all scales are represented, so it's a treat for families and children. We support something called a Build-A-Car kit so that all children above age 5 are given a boxcar kit to build and take home with them as part of it. And the children under 5 get to meet Santa Claus, and we have a small gift for them as well.
Dan Temple is one of Hub's youngest members and was turned on to trains at an early age.
Well, I've been a fan of trains since I was 2. My grandfather was the one who got me into this. And so I've been carrying this on for almost my entire life.
He hopes events like this one will introduce model trains to a new generation that will carry on a tradition that reminds people of days gone by.
If we can find a way to make the younger generation understand what the railroading was all about, then we can make them work hard to learn about it. It shows an enthusiasm for railroading. It takes us away from the industrial world today and into a much more simpler time of beauty, history, and scenery.
Hub also has a number of other shows in the area, including one at the Lexington Museum and at Children's Hospital. In addition, they hold clinics throughout the years that are open to the public. You can find out more info on their website at hubdivision.org.
Finally tonight, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas around the city.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Last Friday, Marlborough held their annual Home for the Holidays event, which included performances by the Marlborough High School Combined Chorus, as well as the String Ensemble and Jazz Band. The highlight, of course, was the arrival of Santa and Mrs. Claus on a fire truck.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Are you excited?
At which point, all the children on the common were incredibly well behaved. David Grasso and Chuck Thibodeau of the Recreation Department supplied all the hot chocolate you could drink and all the popcorn you could eat. And Mayor Nancy Stevens, along with Santa, lit the tree.
That's going to do it for Marlborough this week. Once again, I am Dan Ginden, not my look-alike Kristen Doucette. She will be back next week. Don't get nervous. Tonight, we're going to leave you with more of Home for the Holidays. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.
Happy holidays. This is Firefighter Mark with some holiday fire safety tips for you. Before stringing your lights, you should always check for any frayed wiring or broken bulbs. You should never use a household extension cord for outdoor lighting. Always use a heavier gauge extension cord. Keep your household pets away from any wiring. You should never place your candles near anything that can catch on fire. You should never overload your outlets with too many plugs. Make sure you properly water your tree. A dry tree can cause fires. On behalf of the Marlborough Fire Department, we would like to wish you all a happy and safe holiday season.
Coming up right now on Marlborough This Week, Marlborough is looking to win big with its sports business. An anti-bullying plan has been adopted into our city schools. And later in this half hour, a local bake shop takes a delicious holiday tradition to a whole new level. Those stories and more, all on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Paula Pimentel, filling in for Kristen Doucette. Here's more on this week's top story.
By having all the hotels here at the one event to introduce the calendar, the schedule of events for 2011, as well as the restaurants, it kind of gives everybody an opportunity to really understand the business that the New England Sports Center represents to all of us in Marlborough.
Seeking to further capitalize on a booming sports business in the city, hotel and restaurant owners met last week at the New England Sports Center to discuss the projected calendar for 2011.
New England Sports Center is responsible for anywhere between 35 and 37,000 room nights to the city of Marlborough annually. And if you took that into an equation to the restaurants and the number of meals or the volume of meals, probably $4 or $5 million in restaurant revenue annually as well.
Tomanek touted the success of the New England Sports Center, a 6-rink facility on Donald Lynch Boulevard that draws local, national, and international athletes.
You know, this facility alone is about 6 acres under one roof, and really is quite a facility for the city of Marlborough, and something that the whole city should really embrace and understand, because it's one of a kind in the northeast corridor of the United States. I think Minnesota has one, and there might be one in San Antonio. But this is 6 rinks under one facility is really something for the New England Sports Center.
Business leaders are looking for greater coordination among the city's hotels, restaurants, and sports facilities. Participants in the discussion, which was organized by the Marlborough Economic Development Corporation, suggested the New England Sports Center could set up a kiosk with brochures for local businesses. The sports facilities could offer a bag of coupons for local businesses when teams check in, and restaurants could drop off menus at local hotels. The Marlborough Economic Development Corporation has also started work on an area dining and entertainment guide. In addition, participants recommended a more centralized online presence that could link the businesses and the sports facilities together. In 2012, the New England Sports Center will be hosting the USA Hockey Girls and Women's National Championships, which will feature a nationally known keynote speaker.
We're just hoping to grow on that and make sure that the restaurants and the hotels in the area, stay busy. It's important. If they're busy and doing well, that means the city's doing well. So it's very important.
BloombergBusinessWeek.com has named Marlborough the best and most affordable place to raise children in Massachusetts for 2011. Business Week reviewed real estate data, schools, crime rates, cost of living, and other facts such as job growth and recreation. After evaluating over 5,000 communities in the United States, Marlborough took the top spot in Massachusetts. Marlborough, Medway, and Wayland are among 18 cities and towns newly designated as green communities. The announcement by Governor Deval Patrick's office makes these towns eligible for a total of more than $3.6 million in grants for local renewable power and energy efficiency projects. The state has now named 53 green communities.
In a heated hearing last week packed with residents, the licensing board granted an entertainment license to a Route 20 restaurant owner who pledged to try to resolve noise complaints. The West Ender at 493 Boston Post Road West received a one-year license subject to conditions that owner Matt LeDuc continue working to minimize the bass sound that neighbors say is disruptive and test those improvements. Several residents of the Elm Ridge condominium spoke at the City Hall hearing, urging the licensing board not to grant this license. The West Ender opened over the summer and features live music on the weekends. The licensing board in November granted LeDuc a temporary one-month license with the hopes that he could make improvements. LeDuc says he's taken steps to reduce the bass sound, such as putting foam in the ceiling and ordering material that could mute the noise. The school committee last week unanimously accepted a bullying plan that the superintendent praised as a tool that could improve safety in schools. The bullying prevention and intervention plan is based on one developed by the State Department of Education. The plan also makes clear that there is a zero-tolerance policy for bullying. Bullying is prohibited on school grounds and at school activities. It's also prohibited elsewhere if, through the use of technology or other means, it creates a hostile environment at school. School staff must immediately report any conduct that might be viewed as bullying or retaliation. Students, parents, and others are also expected to report any such behavior. School staff will have an annual training on the plan. The school department must submit its plan to the State Department of Education by the end of this year. The school department will be posting the plan on its website at mps-edu.org.
Bullying, depression, and suicide are topics many are afraid to discuss, but compassionate, well-informed conversations about them save lives, according to Julie Totten, who started a nonprofit organization called Families for Depression Awareness out of Waltham, Massachusetts. We spent some time with her this week to find out more.
Depression is the leading cause of suicide, and in the case of bullying, 30% of people who are bullied have depression.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, suicide is the third leading cause of death for American teens and young adults between the ages of 15 and 24 years old.
We really need to help people understand what depression is and get treated, and that's what we focus on at Families for Depression Awareness.
Families for Depression Awareness educates teachers, parents, and students at local schools about how to recognize warning signs of suicide and depression and how to get help.
One of the hard things about this is that even though we know how to treat depression, it is treatable, it is hard to access the care that you need. And so you need a lot of education, and you have to advocate for treatment to get what you need.
The program aims to give teens and teachers information on making the right response, listening without judgment, and making sure the troubled teen knows help is available.
There is a lot of stigma, unfortunately, that exists around depression, and it's there because people are fearful of mental illness, and it goes way back to times when people weren't successfully treated for mental illness. But today things are different. Depression is very treatable. 80% of people get better, and the stigma is just something we have to keep telling people, that this is a treatable medical illness and it's not something to be afraid of. And the more we help people, the better we all are.
The most important lessons for parents and teens is to learn that help is available and that suicide is never the answer.
People who suffer from depression are really in a lot of pain, and they need our help to reach out to them and get them better.
If you would like to learn more about Families for Depression Awareness, please visit their website at familyaware.org.
We help people across the country, and we want to help as many families as possible.
Individuals interested in pursuing a career as a licensed practical nurse were invited to attend an information session at Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School last week. We were there to see how this program has stayed so successful since its inception in 1973.
There's a lot of places for nurses right now. Community nursing, a lot of places for them to be and things to do.
The LPN Open House is a chance for students to take a look at the program at Assabet Valley High School and learn what it has to offer.
Every year we hold an information session where we invite high school students from all of our districts, and we invite people from the outside who are interested in becoming nurses to learn about our LPN program, what the LPN program involves, what are the commitments to the program, and how to begin the application process.
Current students are on hand to demonstrate skills they have learned through this program.
We had a number of students who talked about the demands of the program, time management, why it's really great to be a guy and to be in the nursing field at this particular time, how to do homework over the summer, and the commitment that the family needs to have in order to help people be successful.
They take the time to tell potential students how they've learned the skills, why they are important, and what their role is as far as becoming an LPN.
We have people from all across the age spectrum. We have high school graduates, people who just graduated from Assabet and Blackstone last year, who have entered into our LPN program, all the way up to people who are in their 50s who have made a career change. So it's a really exciting time to be in nursing.
The program is a 40-week full-time day program and prepares men and women for the NCLEX PN licensure examination. Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School is the only high school in New England to boast the latest technology in simulated patient care in the lab.
We are taking 32 freshmen in this class this year, all of which want some sort of health field. And so we're very proud of that. We're very proud of our particular shop, the work that we do, and the opportunities that our students have.
Graduates are prepared for opportunities in nursing homes, office nursing, clinics, hospitals, and community health nursing.
They're taking care of real patients. They're working with nurses, they're working with physicians under the direction of an instructor, of course, but they're doing real live patient care, documentation, using the skills that they learned in the lab out in the real world.
Upon completion of the program, graduates receive a certificate of proficiency in practical nursing. The program not only prepares its students to obtain a job in the medical field, but it also inspires students to think beyond just working as an RN.
I'd like to go to pre-med school and then go to medical school because I want to work in the ER and help people, because that's like fast-paced. You always need to be doing something, and I think that's good.
For more information, please contact Rose Veith, Practical Nursing Director, at 508-485-9430, extension 1471.
Many changes are happening at the federal government level that are affecting our daily lives. Last week, a congressional legislative update breakfast sponsored by our local Chamber of Commerce featured Congressman Jim McGovern of Massachusetts. This was an open breakfast for all who have been wondering what is happening in Washington, what changes to expect, and how they will impact the future of the USA. McGovern spoke to a crowd of about 50 people. On the 10th anniversary of Arthur Lambert's death, the committee that runs a fundraising event in his name held a press conference at Marlborough High School last week to release some important information. Here are the highlights.
On the 10th anniversary of Arthur Lambert's death, the committee that runs a basketball tournament in his name announced last week that next year's special edition will be the last one.
10 years ago today, our good friend, the husband of Karen and the father of Julia, Arthur Lambert, was taken from this world. On many fronts, we collectively, as friends and family, have done our very best to perpetuate his memory and legacy. One of our most memorable efforts has been our 3-on-3 basketball tournament that we've held annually right in this gym in March, or if not April.
Lambert, a lifelong resident of Marlborough, was serving as an aide to then Senate President Thomas Birmingham when he died in a car accident at age 37. He left wife Karen and daughter Julia, who was 10 months old at the time.
With 10 years passing after Arthur's untimely departure, we collectively believe it is time to have one last tournament in his honor and to enjoy the solid support people have lent over this last decade.
LeDuc stated that the tournament will have raised about $50,000 to date. Money has been given to various organizations, including the Citizens for Scholarship Fund and the Boys and Girls Club.
We have been able to do so many great things in Arthur's memory, and he would be so proud of where we have come today.
The 10th annual Arthur Lambert Memorial 3-on-3 basketball tournament is scheduled for Saturday, March 26th. The event will be held at the Marlborough High School Gymnasium. The afternoon event will be followed by a special testimonial dinner in Lambert's memory at the Hudson Elks. Tournament organizers had always planned to hold the event for 10 years, but the moment is still bittersweet.
We wanted it to end when it was still really successful, and we've had the same group of people that keeps coming and coming, and I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I'm so proud of what we've accomplished. And Arthur would be so proud of what we've been able to do in his memory.
The holidays are here, and countless school-age kids have just been released from school for a couple of weeks. Wondering what you can do to keep them busy? We spoke with an expert on gingerbread housemaking to inspire you to bring this holiday tradition into your home.
Each kid gets their board and their palette knife, and then we're going to give them their piping bag with different tips that they can play with.
Gumdrops, lollipops, chocolate squares, jelly bears, and peppermint candies. The sky's the limit as far as decorating your own gingerbread house. Whatever way you pick to enjoy this yummy craft, it's a delicious holiday tradition for the young and old. A small bake shop at 190 West Main Street, a building dating back to 1895, is a block from South Street and once housed a gas station, hair salon, driving school, and cigar shop, but now it's home to Bella Cakes, and this bake shop takes gingerbread making to a whole new level.
We're a custom cake shop. So we have small retail hours, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, where we sell brownies, blondies, mini cheesecakes, that type of thing. We do a cupcake of the week, but mostly we do custom cakes. So we'll do special occasion cakes, birthdays, showers, and a lot of weddings.
Kristen Levati, a pastry chef who has worked at restaurants throughout New England, is the owner and loves this time of year due to her annual gingerbread housemaking classes.
This is becoming an annual tradition now for a lot of people. I see them, this is their third year coming, and it's a parent-child team. They come in, they get all the pieces, we make them custom for them. They come sit down, and then they learn how to put their house together, they decorate it, and they take it home, and they get to put it on their, holiday dinner table.
Levati does all the work beforehand to make for a fun, not stressful, gingerbread housemaking experience.
They just kind of show up. We have all the pieces made for them. We have the piping bags. We give them a little tutorial on how to pipe frosting. We show them how to put their house together, and then they get to decorate it and take it home.
Levati's own education in cooking took her to Edinburgh Cookery School, now the Edinburgh School of Food and Wine, from which she graduated in 1995. After, she worked as a pastry chef in Norwich, Connecticut, then throughout Massachusetts, where she helped open several restaurants, including Restaurant Brico in Boston's North End. After taking the time off to start a family, Levati opened her Marlborough shop in 2008.
I like being able to do something different all the time. It's not like where you go in a corporate kitchen and you make the same cookie day in, day out. I love when people come in and have an idea, and then we can kind of create it for them.
Levati is grateful for the support of this community and always aims to give back when she can.
From little things from bringing our, blondies to the food pantry once a week, or doing Evening of Giving or other charity events, donating a dozen cupcakes here or there. We try and do, I mean, we're a small shop, we try and do what we can, but we like to have our hands out there.
Members of the Christopher Heights Senior Living Facility got into the Christmas spirit last week as their women's group wrapped gifts for children who will be in the hospital over the holidays. We took a moment to catch them in action.
We try to do things to help the community, you know, like food, socks for the homeless, a variety of things like that, and this was our latest endeavor.
The Christopher Heights Senior Living Facility was buzzing with excitement last Thursday afternoon as the members of a women's group worked to wrap up presents for children for the Christmas holiday.
We decided to make up some bags with toys that they might enjoy having to keep them busy while they're in the hospital.
The group's members came up with this idea last month and have been asking for resident support ever since to make this project successful.
This was something we could do very quickly, easily, and the residents here just opened their hearts and their pocketbooks. When you say children, they give, and they gave beautifully.
Thanks to the generosity of all involved, children will receive a bag of goodies.
There are puzzles, and there's a little bag they can paint, and a coloring book and crayons and card game. So it's a little bit of everything.
This isn't the first time this women's group has given back to their community. Each month when they meet, they aim to come up with yet another way to give back.
It's a challenge to come up with something new that we feel there's a need for, but we thought that the children that have to stay in the hospital over Christmas really need something to brighten their day. And we thought maybe a bag of toys would do the job.
A blanket and linen drive and your pet of the week. Don't move. We're back after this short break.
Happy holidays. This is Firefighter Mark with some holiday fire safety tips for you. Before stringing your lights, you should always check for any frayed wiring or broken bulbs. You should never use a household extension cord for outdoor lighting. Always use a heavier gauge extension cord. Keep your household pets away from any wiring. You should never place your candles near anything that can catch on fire. You should never overload your outlets with too many plugs. Make sure you properly water your tree. A dry tree can cause fires. On behalf of the Marlborough Fire Department, we would like to wish you all a happy and safe holiday season.
Furnishing Options, a local nonprofit organization, is collecting linens for the homeless. Their blanket and linen drive will go on until December 30th and are hoping to receive bath and kitchen towels, blankets, comforters, and throws. Items can be dropped off at 66 Mechanic Street from 2 to 5 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and from 9 to noon on Saturdays. For more information, you can contact Furnishing Options at 774-348-4922.
Today we have Papaya, and she is just the sweetest little love bug. She's great with other dogs, she's good with children, she's good with all people, she's really friendly. I don't know if she's good with cats because she was a stray from Puerto Rico. She definitely likes to eat, so she's a little on the chubby side, but she's going to make a great family pet. She's a young girl, maybe about 2 or 3 years old, and she has a long way to go. If you'd like to learn more about Papaya, please feel free to call us at Buddy Dog. The number is 978-443-6990.
Just a reminder that the DPW will be picking up the Christmas trees once again from January 10th to January 28th. For more information, you can visit the DPW website. That's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Paula Pimentel. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Coming up right now in Marlborough this week, as we look forward to 2011, we take a look back at 2010. The city celebrated its 350th birthday this year with dozens of activities and get-togethers. The President of the United States set foot in Marlborough's own airport in April. Plus, a Main Street tragedy destroyed a building on Main Street, and later in this half hour, Marlborough's own Bobby Butler, a local hockey player, got the chance of a lifetime. Those stories and more on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. – 2010 was a big year for the city of Marlborough. From the get-go, residents have been buzzing with excitement due to the city's 350th birthday, which set the year off on a positive note. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. This show is all about looking back on 2010. Let's start off with a recap of the birthday celebration events that took place this past year. The Labor Day Parade, an annual tradition in the city, was the highlight of this year's celebration activities. Just prior to the parade, we took a walking tour with Bob Kane from the Marlborough Historical Society to learn a bit about Marlborough's history and what sets us apart from surrounding towns and cities. For decades, Labor Day weekend has been a time of celebration. The annual Labor Day Parade has generally been the headline attraction, but this year, to celebrate our 350th birthday, an array of events to bring the community together were planned all year long. But if you take away all the parties, get-togethers, and gatherings, and take a moment to think about Marlborough and its history, you will see there's a lot of historic sites that really set Marlborough apart from the surrounding areas. Let's take a moment to look back and talk about the city's top 10 historic sites in the city. We took a walking tour with Historical Society member Bob Kane. First on his list, the Walker Building.
The very first meeting house was erected here at the end of 1662. It got burnt to the ground in the King Philip War in 1676. It was rebuilt numerous times. I think and then the last meeting house was down on the other corner of Prospect Street. They finally ripped that down. They built what's called Gates Academy, which was where a lot of prominent Marlborough citizens attended. What you see behind us up here, which is a high school, was a high school up until around the early 1960s. But this is where it all started.
Next, we visited the corner of West Main Street and Broad Street.
Standing in front of the home of Horatio Alger Jr. He was born in Natick, but he lived out his formative years here from 1845 to 1859. And he lived here because his father, Horatio Alger Sr., became the minister of the West Meeting House. He went on to be one of the biggest sellers of books of his time.
Then it was off to the shores of Lake Williams off of Route 20. Lake Williams was around when they founded Marlborough in 1660. The ice industry took place right on the shores.
We're standing right near the last remnant of the ice industry, and it's a concrete chute sort of like that runs underneath Route 20 that came out of the lake. And what they would do, they'd harvest the ice out on the lake, and they cut it in slabs. And then they had horses up on the hill across the street from us because there was a huge ice house up on the top of the hill off of Bond Street. And they would have the horses pull the ice underneath the road right up the hill.
Right around the corner is the site of the Williams Tavern. The tavern was built in 1665 by Abraham Williams on the corner of West Main Street and Lakeside Ave.
General Washington slept there on his way to take over the troops in July in Cambridge, and he spent the night there. He liked it so much that when after being elected president, he came back and dined here on his way to Boston. Truly is probably the #1 lost landmark in the city of Marlborough. If it was still standing today, it'd be the oldest tavern in the United States.
Next, it was off to the end of East Main Street at the corner of Hilder Street to the site where William Dawes, who rode with Paul Revere, lived after the Revolutionary War.
William Dawes also had a general store right across the street from here. At the road comes right up through there, and that's which a lot of people remember it as Cedarlawns, but that was the brick store, and it was operated by William Dawes. And the reason he came to Marlborough was because his sister lived here. So he lived out his life here. He died in 1799. They carried his body from his house up to the First Church and held a service. And then because he was a patriot, a hero of the Revolutionary War.
Speaking of the First Congregational Church, let's talk a bit more about this historic site.
Around 1806, they built this church here. And around 1808, they built what's called the West Meeting House up on Pleasant Street. And so there was that divide. And this is not the church that was built in 1806. It was rebuilt in 1853. And they actually own the common. That a lot of people, it's really used by the city, but they own the common here.
Right on Union Common, there's another famous historic fixture, the John Brown Bell.
Also here at the Common is the tower that was put up to hold the John Brown Bell that used to be at the GAR building, which is now the parking lot for pastimes up the corner of Rollins Ave and Main Street. And when that was going to be torn down in urban renewal, they wanted to do something with the bells, and this was a perfect place to do it.
Then it was off to the Captain Peter Rice homestead. This is another historic site, and it's currently the home of Marlborough's Historical Society.
Captain Rice's grandfather, Edmund Rice, was one of the original founders of Marlborough. His house was down around where the City Hall is today, but he had a son, Thomas, who got land too from the founding of it, which was right around this area. When he died, he split it up between his two sons, Thomas Jr. and Peter. Peter was on this side of Elm Street and Thomas on the other side. Peter built this house for his wife when he got married. He married a Howe girl, which was another big family in Marlborough.
Last but not least, we ended our walking tour at the Spring Hill Cemetery, one of the oldest cemeteries in Marlborough.
A lot of people think the very oldest is the one behind the Walker Building off of Main Street, but this is even older than that. Right here in this cemetery is the oldest grave in the city of Marlborough. It's Captain Edward Hutchinson. There's also another famous person here, buried here, Lucy Goodale. Yeah, there's a big Goodale plot up here. But a lot of founders' names you'll find up here in the cemetery, the Howes, the Rices, and so forth, are buried in the cemetery. So it is a very historic cemetery, along with the one behind the Walker Building. This is a very interesting one. So if you want to take a visit, this is a place to come.
In addition to the city celebrating its 350th birthday, lots of other interesting things happened this past year. Although some thought it to be an April Fool's joke, President Barack Obama did land at Marlborough Airport on April 1st, 2010, a day we'll all remember.
Until the helicopters started arriving and all of the blue lights went to the corner of Post Road, most people had no idea that anything like this could happen.
In what at first sounded like an April Fool's gag, President Barack Obama paid a surprise visit to a soggy Metro West on Thursday evening. Bob Stetson, owner of Marlborough Airport, got a call early Thursday morning with a request.
He asked if I was in a position to support 6 helicopters that were working in support of VIP movement. I said, sure.
Obama's brief stop, in which he thanked emergency management workers dealing with the wettest March on record, was the first presidential visit to the area since Bill Clinton came to Framingham in 1994. Officers kept watch on the roof of a building near the runway, and traffic backed up in both directions on Farm Road as 6 helicopters landed. Hundreds of people, many holding phones and cameras, greeted Obama with waves and cheers as a presidential helicopter touched down on the Marlborough Airport runway at 5:15 p.m.
I saw him as he transitioned from the helicopter to the limousine. He waved to the crowd across the street as he was transitioning from the helicopter to the limousine.
From there, motorcade took him to the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency's bunker in Framingham and then on to an evening fundraiser in Boston. Several people in the crowd said they'd heard about the president's appearance through updates on Facebook, though initially they suspected the messages might have been part of a prank. Still, crowds gathered and grew through the afternoon. The onlookers were held back by security tape and officers. The security presence included state troopers, officers from Boston and Marlborough, and the Secret Service.
These people know what they're doing. They do it on a daily basis. They do it for a living. They know exactly what they're doing.
Stetson stated that he felt good about his contribution during Thursday's event, adding that events like this brings attention to the airport, displaying what it's capable of and what it does on a daily basis that not many people know about.
Most people see this airport as a place where rich people go to play with their flying toys. And we do far more than that. We support life flight operations here. We support incoming VIPs, both from the political arena and from the corporate world.
Another day that will be etched in our memories for years to come is June 26, 2010, the day an 8-alarm fire broke out in downtown Marlborough. Here's the piece as it aired in July.
We started receiving multiple 911 calls reporting a smoke in the area across from City Hall. The first arriving crews found heavy fire inside the building here at 173, 175 West Main Street.
An 8-alarm fire engulfed a 4-story century-old building in the heart of downtown last weekend, leaving at least 16 people homeless and destroying 2 businesses.
When you looked at the scene, it was something you see on TV. You never expect it to be in your community. I arrived on the scene and mutual aid was here, and the amount of our personnel that was on scene, it really was amazing.
Marlborough Deputy Chief Ron Ayotte states the wooden structure ignited quickly and erupted into a major blaze that threatened to burn the adjacent buildings on Main Street.
The firefighters went to work. They did a quick search of the building to make sure that everybody was out of the building, and then shortly after they came out, the building collapsed.
Quick work from the fire department and 14 others from around the area saved a bank and a convenience store in the adjacent buildings.
We had Hopkinton and Shrewsbury covering our headquarters station. I think it was Berlin covering our Station 2. Station 3 was, I think, covered by Wayland. Sudbury was here with a couple of engines. Hudson was here with a few pieces of apparatus. So was Northborough and Southborough.
None of the residents or anyone in the businesses were injured, but 3 firefighters, one whom was transported to Marlborough Hospital in stable condition, suffered from heat exhaustion.
The heat and the humidity, that's a killer. We're wearing heavy turnout gear, air packs. Every firefighter is carrying at least another 40 or 50 pounds besides his body weight between the air pack and the turnout gear he's wearing, plus any tools he's carrying, not counting the hose. And all that takes a toll on the body. You overheat very quickly.
A Brazilian restaurant named Central West Grill and a salon called Hogan's Hair Design on the first floor were destroyed when the building collapsed. The cause of the fire is still unknown. Mayor Nancy Stevens was on site and says the situation could have been a lot worse.
I have never been so proud of the employees that work in this community as I was this one Saturday. From the fire department, I mean, the fact that they were able to contain this, there was no injuries, the structure was contained just to the initial structure, the surrounding buildings just had water damage. I mean, that's just amazing.
We spoke with Bob Kane of the Marlborough Historical Society later on that week to get some history on the building that was burned in the blaze.
It was a side of a building that was called the Princess Theater. That was a theater for many, many years. But that building itself, back in the 1860s, 1870s, housed some important stores at the time. Like one part was a general store and the other part was more than likely a clothing store. Most people in Marlborough might remember that building as the Masciarelli Jewelers. Were there for years and years and years. Louis Masciarelli had his jewelry store there.
The building was around 140 years old, and Kane is sad to see yet another historic building go away.
Unfortunately, the old wooden ones, and being close downtown, fire spreads, and the last big fire we had, we lost a lot of historic structures too in 1975. So let's hope that we don't have another one like that again.
Every year, the city holds a Mayor's Charity Ball, which raises money for residents in need. This year, the event celebrated its 50th anniversary, so along with raising money for a great cause, it also celebrated all the many years of service it has given to the city. The theme of this year's ball was Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Here's the story as it aired in March.
Our community in these tough times has really come together, and to see the participation and all the people at the ball tonight helping their neighbors, it's fantastic.
Hundreds of Marlborough city officials, residents, family, and friends came out to celebrate the annual Mayor's Charity Ball last Saturday night. The evening began at 7 p.m. with hors d'oeuvres and drinks. All who attended enjoyed conversing with coworkers, family, and friends. The annual ball is aimed at raising money for the Mayor's Charity Relief Fund. On top of that, the event celebrated its 50th anniversary this year. The belle of the ball, Mayor Nancy Stevens, who's attending her 3rd ball, says she is just as excited about this one as she was her first.
I think even more so this time because we've had 2 other balls. This is the 3rd term, and just the people coming together and the theme of the ball, Neighbors Helping Neighbors, it is so appropriate for this time and economy that we're in. that I couldn't have asked for anything more appropriate in terms of a theme.
This ball is the sole contributor to the Charity Relief Fund. Just last year, because of an emergency need for fuel and food assistance, the mayor and volunteers came together and participated in a Heat and Eat fundraiser.
We hadn't historically had an issue where the funds have run low, but again, because of the economy and people losing their jobs, we were finding that the needs and the requests were just getting so frequent. We've seen just a tremendous need that I'm really glad that people are coming out and really supporting the ball. It really is every 2 years that we replenish the funds.
The Mayor's Charity Relief Fund is unique in that it helps all residents, even those who do not qualify for assistance.
We try to help people in their neediest time, and I think we've just done a fantastic job with all of the money that's been raised through great events like this to be able to help our neighbors.
For example, when there is a house fire, the fund is there to help.
You don't even have a toothbrush. People need immediate money. The Red Cross is great, but they give just kind of that immediate shelter and things like that. This helps people in the short term before they can navigate the insurance system to be able to have some cash on hand.
Stevens remarked that she has never heard of another community to have a fund like this one.
I think to be able to have that money, to be able to assist our residents when they're having a really difficult time, I think is fantastic. I really am the custodian of this, and I feel very honored and privileged that while it's the Mayor's Charity Relief Fund and I have control over that fund, it really is the city fund.
Besides refueling the relief fund, the night is all about recognizing the hardworking individuals that make Marlborough what it is today. 2 awards were given. Bob Kays was the first recipient of the Lifetime Community Service Award. A highlight of the evening was the announcement of Lynn Faust as the Humanitarian of the Year, an award established in 1986 to pay tribute to those whose example of selfless public service is constantly in evidence.
I am very honored and I'm very blessed to receive this fabulous honor tonight.
Still to come as we continue with Marlborough this week, 2010 was a year of change as we welcomed a new superintendent and fire chief. But first, an eyesore for the city took a step in the right direction this year. We're back with that story after this short break. Please stay with us.
Firefighter Mark, back with a winter ice safety tip for you. Daily changes in temperatures cause the ice to expand and contract, which affects its strength. If someone does fall through the ice, act quickly and call 911 immediately. Do not go out on the ice to help someone who has fallen in. Would-be rescuers become victims themselves. Extend a branch, pole, or ladder to the victim. Cold water does not have to be icy. It just has to be colder than you are to cause hypothermia. And hypothermia can be deadly. And remember, the only safe ice is at the ice rink.
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. For the third time in nearly 2 years, Corbin Plaza, a vacant building at 118 Pleasant Street, sold this year. We were there to catch the auction in action. Here's the piece as it aired in September.
Quarter, I've gotten 30 now. 325 and 330 to you.
Stas Burden, a managing partner out of Newton, Massachusetts, won the 4-story building with a bid of $356,000. Sudarshan Chatterjee, a doctor from North Andover, won the building in December 2008 with a $310,000 bid at an auction at City Hall. According to the terms and conditions of the sale at the 2008 auction, the city wanted property construction to begin by January 2011 and finish within 2 years. The mayor says she hopes to work with the new owner on the property's development. The city had decided to sell Corbin Plaza at auction after foreclosing on the property early in 2008. The former landlord, Richard Bland, could not pay the back taxes and owed about $790,000, including interest and penalties. J.J. Manning, the auctioneer, started off the bidding at $100,000. Within about 5 minutes, Burden had placed his winning bid.
Lots of changes took place this past year. Past Superintendent of Schools Mary Carlson officially retired on October 3rd. Although excited about the years ahead, she was quite emotional about her exit. We sat down with her to look back at her over 35 years of service.
I just really have a belief system that says, you live each day to the fullest. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and embrace it. And that's what I do.
Mary Carlson grew up in Marlborough and has worked in the city schools since 1975. Carlson graduated from Marlborough High School in 1970 and earned an undergraduate degree in health and physical education before accepting a job as a physical education teacher in Marlborough elementary schools in 1975.
I always had a goal of coming back and teaching in the district that I felt I got so much from.
She later earned her master's at Framingham State College and also taught physical education at the junior high.
What a neat job. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. To be teaching kindergarten children, really everything from how to hop and skip and jump, which seems so simple, but it really gets down to the basics of analyzing, you know, some skills of how children, some kids don't know how to skip or can't understand the mechanics of that.
In the mid-1980s, when health education became a mandate in the public schools, Carlson began writing health curriculum for K through 12.
I started to work with developing the curriculum, working with the state, and then training some of our teachers in terms of how to implement health ed in the schools with their kids.
She later interned for a year under Susan Pecor, principal of the Kane School, and interned under former superintendent David Flynn before moving to the high school, where she would spend 15 years.
Wonderful, wonderful opportunity. I wrote policy, and policy that I wrote at the time that went to school committee was around HIV and AIDS, which was really hitting the forefront. How do you deal with that in schools? Presented that to school committee. I also worked on budget at the time.
Carlson was an administrative assistant for the 8th grade the first year that grade was moved to the high school.
That started really my career as a high school administrator, as an assistant principal for 8 years, and then as the high school principal for 7 more.
In 2008, she took over as interim superintendent after the early departure of former superintendent Barbara McGann, and was later named to fill the post permanently until her planned retirement date of October 3rd of 2010.
I really believe when doors open, you walk through them. And I would say that to anybody who thinks that.
As we said goodbye to Mary, we welcomed our new superintendent, Anthony Pope. In an effort to get better acquainted with this city, Pope started a new initiative called Workout Wednesdays. As we look forward to it coming back in the spring, let's take a look back at a gathering that took place in the fall. To be healthy, exercise is essential. Thanks to the motivation from Superintendent Dr. Anthony Pope, a new initiative has begun to take shape.
Workout Wednesdays. We're trying to do that every Wednesday. First, it's a way to model healthy habits. And it's, most importantly, it's a way to get staff and community out for a jog and to come together to talk about Marlborough Public Schools.
All who are interested in taking part in Workout Wednesdays are asked to come to a specified location on Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Participants will run, jog, or walk for 30 minutes. Following the exercise session, participants have the chance to chat with Dr. Pope about their current concerns regarding our local schools.
To talk about what's on their mind, what's working well, what's not working well. As I go through my entry process, it's just another way for me to get out into the community and to hear from residents, teachers, students, etc.
This past week marked the second Workout Wednesday.
The participation has been great. I think we can do a better job of advertising, try to get more parents out.
In his efforts for better communication through the district, Dr. Pope encourages all to attend in the coming weeks. The city also welcomed a new fire chief this year. Fire Chief Ricky Plummer began his duties in March and has been going strong ever since. We spoke with him shortly after he began in April.
Happy to go to work, looking forward to it. There's always something different.
Fire Chief Ricky Plummer has been a firefighter for over 33 years, being a fire chief for the past 15.
I've worked in other places, bigger and smaller, and kind of like this type of environment. Saw the job open, and my wife and I really look forward to moving to Marlborough, and after a while it came true, so here we are.
With his over 33 years of experience, Plummer feels as if he knows how a city operates when it comes to fire hazards. Plummer's goal within the city is to provide more safety for the firefighters and the citizens, be able to handle any call with confidence, in addition to handling all situations in a courteous manner. Plummer began his first day with lots to do.
We had a fire Sunday night just before I started, so there's an ongoing investigation on that. So there's just a lot of things going on at the same time. So very busy weekend. This morning has started off busy.
The job of a fire chief is quite involved, and it's not what you might think. Plummer admits that most residents think that the fire chief goes out on every fire and is the acting firefighter in charge, but that's not necessarily true.
Chief firefighters, number one, to make sure that the fire department operates properly, the apparatus responds properly, everybody does their job. Another major part is the budget, to make sure that oversee the budget, make sure that we don't overexpend the budget, and then lastly, along with the deputy chiefs, enforce the fire codes.
We asked the fire chief about what residents can do to make the fire department's job easier. He said make sure your house number is visible. It might seem like an obvious thing, but house numbers can be a problem, according to Plummer.
Obviously for a fire, when you have it's pretty easy to find it. But if you get a smell of smoke, you get a medical call, anything other than a really working fire, sometimes it's very difficult to find that address.
Despite current and future challenges within the Marlborough Fire Department, Chief Plummer is happy to be here and is eager to help this community.
Glad to be here. You have a great fire department. We're going to make it better, and I think everybody here is looking forward to making it better. Chief Adams did a great job. Continue on in his footsteps and move forward. We're going to have the fire department that you need, very efficient, very well trained, here to handle it.
Speaking of what you can do to help your local fire department, one local letter carrier saved a home from a fire this past year while delivering mail. We spoke with Timothy Hardiman to get his side of the story this past September.
You think a little bit. You still just react.
While delivering mail on September 2nd, letter carrier Timothy Hardiman saw an Edinburgh Street home with smoke billowing out of its windows.
There was a lot of smoke, and I knew that it wouldn't take long for the fire to spread. So I was the first one on the scene, and I thought that, if anything, I was the one that'd be responsible to take somebody out if there was someone in there.
Hardiman was filling in for someone on this particular day, and he was unfamiliar with the area.
I didn't know the families. I didn't know how many children they had or how big the family was.
He yelled inside, but got no answer. Hardiman then called 911. He went to the back of the house and saw flames. He called out again and still heard no response, so he went in. After going into the house through a screen door, 42-year-old Hardiman went through each room on the first floor to make sure no one was inside. Once he got to the front door, he opened it because of the heavy smoke.
I continued on to the second floor and searched the entire second floor. The closets, bathrooms, beds, and then came back down and came back out again and got some air.
Hardiman said he was not concerned for his own safety because of the height of the building. No one was inside at the time, and even though the 911 dispatcher told him not to go into the house, Hardiman stated he couldn't have dealt with how he would have felt if he could have helped someone and didn't. A firefighter who lives next door used an extinguisher to put out the flames in the kitchen. The fire department arrived soon after and did additional work on the blaze. Although he did not have training for such a situation, Hardiman did take exams in applying to be a firefighter years ago. If faced with the same situation in the future, Hardiman states he would do it all again if it meant saving someone's life or property.
More than 100 students collaborated on painting an 88-foot tunnel on a trail at the Marlborough-Hudson line this year. This project will have a lasting effect on both communities for years to come.
This 88-foot mural entitled A Community Win was designed by Hudson High School students and painted by more than 100 high school students from Hudson and Marlborough, covering both sides of the tunnel.
It was a real learning experience. It wasn't just a day out of school. We learned a real lot about art, about ourselves.
The Arts Alliance Hudson Recreation Department and Mike Correa, art coordinator for the Hudson Public Schools, have worked closely with local art teachers, students, and community members to plan, design, and implement this enormous public art project that has taken over a year to complete.
I had approached the kids about something to do with trains, and they came up with this theme with trains and football because it's the third oldest rivalry in the state, so they decided to pick this.
A Community Win is set in the 1920s and depicts both schools coming home from a winning football game.
This side here, Hudson's winning the football game against Marlborough, and the other side is the opposite. And actually, Marlborough High School kids and Hudson High School kids worked on both sides. It wasn't like a competition or anything like that.
The mural illustrates a period when trains zipped through surrounding communities. Students spend time researching the 1920s to accurately illustrate the clothing styles portrayed in the mural. Many different characters can be seen within the mural, including football players and coaches, cheerleaders, marching band members, military personnel, train conductors, and numerous spectators.
It's great how students put themselves into that time period, so a lot of the portraits are of themselves in the 1920s or 1930s.
A community win is part of an ongoing initiative called Hudson Pathways. Hudson Pathways is made possible by funding from the Sudbury Foundation, Avidia Bank, and individual donations. Korea admitted that while this project was being carried out, students and parents were concerned that their hard work would go to waste if this mural were to be ruined by graffiti. Korea pushed on with the project without fear and asked his students to do the same.
I had talked to everybody coming through, adults as well, that we can't live like that. It's kind of like the towers, the Twin Towers. You're not going to stop living because of terrorism. And we're not going to stop living because somebody does something to this artwork, but we do have the varnish to protect it. But if they did, we'll fix it, and it's not going to stop us from doing artwork.
The Arts Alliance, along with the Hudson Recreation Department, Historic Society, Hudson Police Department, and Hudson Public Schools, have participated in Hudson Pathways.
It's been a good experience for the kids in general, the ones that did work on it. And if they don't realize it now, they'll come back 5 years from now. This paint's great and it'll still be here. So maybe they'll look at it and reflect on it a little differently.
Sports This Week is a look back at one hardworking hockey player that received the chance of a lifetime this year. Marlborough native Bobby Butler signed a 2-year contract with the Ottawa Senators on March 29, 2010. Here's our sports story that aired the week the news broke.
Hello Marlborough, Rob O'Keefe back with another sports update. The first time every kid laces up their skates, a dream is born to maybe someday play in the NHL. On Thursday night, when Marlborough's Bobby Butler stepped onto the ice wearing an Ottawa Senators jersey, a dream was realized. Bobby Butler, playing 5 seasons for the Marlborough Panthers, making varsity in 8th grade, racked up 284 points in 116 games. He would go on to play 4 years for the University of New Hampshire, where this year he led the country with 29 goals and was 3rd in overall points in Division I hockey. His college career ended on Saturday night, and by Sunday the phone was ringing off the hook with offers from NHL teams. We caught up with his former high school coach, who also happens to be his dad, to tell us about that emotional day.
It was a crazy day. A lot of great things were said about my son. A lot of great interest, and we just talked about what was best for Bob, and we'll give him the best opportunity to play. And then we went down to Ottawa. They really were strong on him. They wanted to come up right away to the NHL level to get a taste of it, see what it was like, and he was excited. It was on the East Coast, so it would be close to home.
In a phone conversation on Wednesday, we asked Bobby what he thought of his first few days in the NHL.
It's pretty crazy, everything's like I pictured. Just top end, everything, and it's just crazy. It's a dream come true.
For the young hockey players in the area, Bobby will most certainly become a role model.
It's good for the local kids. It just shows that you can play youth hockey. You can play your friends growing up. You can play your high school with your friends, play juniors, go to a good college, get a degree. He's going to get his degree, which is more important than anything for me, really. And then get an opportunity to play in the NHL. So he's really had some. It's really been a storybook career for him.
This year, Butler has already won Hockey East Player of the Year, the Walter Brown Award, and minutes before we conducted our interview, his father received news that Bobby has a great chance of earning college hockey's most prestigious award.
Yeah, I just found out about an hour ago that he was top 3 at Hobie Baker Award, which is pretty awesome. So I'm pretty proud of that, which is unexpected. But he's a great kid. He's worked hard. So.
Bobby has worked hard, and now he has reached the pinnacle of a great career. He wanted to thank all his family and fans back home in Marlborough for all their support.
I want to say thanks for for all the support over the years. Couldn't have done it with everyone back home, and my family, my friends, my friends, of course, and my family, and my coaches, all my coaches throughout my whole life.
So Thursday was Bobby's big night, and the place to catch the game was at Sully's First Edition, where Butler's UNH jersey is proudly displayed on the wall, and a large contingent of the Bobby Butler fan club gathered to cheer on the pride of Marlborough.
This is a big event for the city and the whole area. He's a hometown hero. I've watched this kid since he was a squirt. Everyone knew something special about him. And then what he's doing now with the Hobie Baker finalists, and tonight playing in the NHL, it's a big thing. It's a big thrill for Marlborough, his parents, his family, and everyone in this whole entire town area is so proud of this kid.
Welcome back to Marlborough This Week. All show long, we've been looking back on 2010, but recently business leaders of this community came together to look ahead to 2011. The center of the discussion was the New England Sports Center and how restaurants and hotels could contribute and benefit from what this facility brings to the community.
Seeking to further capitalize on a booming sports business in the city, hotel and restaurant owners met last week at the New England Sports Center to discuss the projected calendar for 2011.
New England Sports Center is responsible for anywhere between 35 and 37,000 room nights to the city of Marlborough annually. And if you took that into an equation to the restaurants, and the number of meals or the volume of meals, probably $4 or $5 million in restaurant revenue annually as well.
Tomanek touted the success of the New England Sports Center, a 6-rink facility on Donald Lynch Boulevard that draws local, national, and international athletes.
This facility alone is about 6 acres under one roof, and really is quite a facility for the city of Marlborough, and something that the whole city should really embrace and understand, because it's one of a kind in the northeast corridor of the United States. I think Minnesota has one, and there might be one in San Antonio. But this is 6 rinks under one facility is really something for a New England Sports Center.
Business leaders are looking for greater coordination among the city's hotels, restaurants, and sports facilities. Participants in the discussion, which was organized by the Marlborough Economic Development Corporation, suggested the New England Sports Center could set up a kiosk with brochures for local businesses. The sports facilities could offer a bag of coupons for local businesses when teams check in, and restaurants could drop off menus at local hotels. The Marlborough Economic Development Corporation has also started work on an area dining and entertainment guide. In addition, participants recommended a more centralized online presence that could link the businesses and the sports facilities together. In 2012, the New England Sports Center will be hosting the USA Hockey Girls and Women's National Championships, which will feature a nationally known keynote speaker.
We're just hoping to grow on that and make sure that the restaurants and the hotels in the area, stay busy. It's important. If they're busy and doing well, that means the city's doing well. So it's very important.
That's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next year.